Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. We are incredibly excited to dive into the depth of the stage tour and look at why modern prospects crave real unit level authenticity. To see just how sharp your eyes are, we will also be kicking things off early with a live interactive game called Is It Real? You will be challenged to look at a series of property management images and determine whether they are 100% real or if the room was actually generated using AI. We will reveal the truth by pulling back the curtain and showing you the original unaltered photos side by side so you can see just how difficult it has become for our prospects to tell them apart. Before we dive in, let's go over a few housekeeping items. First, we are recording this session and we will send you the replay in your inbox tomorrow. Next, we want to hear from you. Please drop your questions you have throughout the session in the Q&A box at any time throughout, and our panelists will answer them toward the end. Lastly, stick around. We have a special attendee offer where you can receive 10 professionally produced videos, that's a $900 value, to jumpstart your spring momentum. To get us started, I'll hand things over to Joe Davis, Director of Strategic Growth at Grace Hill. Joe helps multifamily leaders transform leasing through video and leasing virtual solutions. With over 16 years in the industry, he advises clients, shares best practices, and helps to drive adoption of innovative strategies. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you so much, Kayla, and hello and welcome to all of you that are on the webinar right now and those that are watching the recording as well. As Kayla said, I'm Joe and I'm privileged to be on the strategic growth team here at Grace Hill, and I get to spend my days obsessing over how leasing teams can show up more authentically online. Video, visual content, all of it. It is a good gig. And I'm really excited about today's conversation and the guests that we have with us. And before we get into it, quick preview. So we're going to challenge ourselves, like Kayla said, with an AI image game. That is going to be fantastic. And we're going to dig into a practical framework for building real digital trust, see how one of the best operators in the business actually does it at scale. And then we're going to close it out with some rapid fire that you are not going to want to miss. So we're going to be under an hour. Enjoy your coffee or your lunch, and let's get going. Our guest today, her bio that was submitted from a lot of her colleagues in the industry reads, if multifamily had a hype squad, innovation lab, and customer experience think tank all rolled into one person, you'd find Carroll VanHook somewhere in the middle of it. She's the senior director of leasing at JVM Realty, where she connects people, technology, marketing, and a healthy dose of creative chaos to help communities thrive. Nearly 3 decades in customer service, more than 16 years in multifamily, 14 new construction launches, and a career that has taken her from hospitality to student housing to national industry stages. Her unofficial superpower, connecting dots nobody realized were related. Carroll, welcome.
Hi, Joe. Thanks for having me. That was so much fun. I can't believe some peers wrote that. That was a fun way to make a bio. So, hey, everybody, welcome. We have so much awesome stuff today. I know there's going to be some great takeaways, but please leave some comments in the chats, questions. We want to leave time to address those. So, welcome. Ooh, I
Absolutely.
see some San Diego in the house,
Oh,
Texas.
yeah.
Oh, that
Got North
song is like stuck
Carolina.
in my head. Choosing Texas. Oh, cannot get out of my head. All right, Texas in the
Oh, I
house.
love it. I
Deb
love it.
Hayes. All right.
Atlanta representing. I love it too. All right.
Woo.
So we are producing more leasing media than ever, but prospects trust less of what they see online. Every property has beautiful photos. AI can create perfect interiors, but the question is not whether the content looks good. The question is whether it feels believable. So, Carol, when did you first realize the issue was not just creating more content, but helping prospects believe what they were seeing?
Sure. I kind of have to go back a little bit because I've really started using video in sales. I want to say, back in 2012, when I really got into the lease up world and traveling around doing lease ups, having to run up to the buildings and get quick videos. And then I had to upload it to a Gmail, share a link, and then I had no data on if they clicked it or how many times. So it really goes back to the beginning of that short form video that we want, that like Snapchat days, right? And so it really goes back to that and not having professional stabilizers and really just trying to get the video content to our prospects that were requesting it. But then in around 2015, I found a technology that allowed for the face-to-face follow-up. Then you could get the data of how many times they watched it. Still didn't have an awesome stabilizer, so I'm still running around trying to get the videos uploaded. Fast forward to around 2020, 2021, when I found Realync, which has been a game changer for me. I'm an unofficial ambassador for Realync. I get paid no money to do this, but I absolutely love the product. And so now we have all these data. We have a cloud library that will always be there. So no matter if, TikTok gets eliminated, Instagram goes away, I have a cloud where I can live all my videos. So, it's not really about making more content. I think it became apparent to me that I wanted to make the human experience and out of the gate. So when we were making our video content of, here's a walkthrough for a floor plan, but we didn't put the human behind it. So I really wanted to pull back on just continuing to make more content, but make sure my teams, myself, anybody in sales was making that human connection out of the gate and saying, hey, I'm Carroll. I'm going to be walking you through this. Here's a video of the floor plan we liked. Make sure you click here to pick one. And so for me, it's about making that human experience out of the gate versus a ton of more videos.
I love that. And the human experience is so important nowadays, as I'm sure a lot of people on this webinar understand. And you've done lease ups, you've done brand launches, the Connect brand at Carroll, and now at JVM, of roughly 5,000 units. What is the one thing those experiences taught you about how media actually moves a prospect?
Well, media moves a prospect because media does the talking for us. So going back to being in markets where the brand didn't exist, we had to make something out of nothing that wasn't even built yet. It's super competitive. So I really had to use media and video to do all the talking for me. I think sometimes we can get lost in all the conversation of, this is everything we have at our property. We want to show everything. We have the coolest pool. We have the best gym. We have 3 dog parks. We have stainless steel appliances. And over time, if you're just constantly talking all day, people will just tune you out. My personality bird's a parrot. So what happens when parrots talk too much? You turn them off. You don't take them seriously. And I'm very conscious about that. So that's why I really like to use videos because I can stay on track. I can stay on what the prospect wants, and I'm keeping it focused on them. So I let the video and the media do the talking. And I also find that with agents, it also reduces the burnout of them talking all day long, giving the spiel over and over. So once you find out what's important to your prospect, you just base it around that, and you can make your playlists in Realync, which if I really don't see us using these across the board as much as we should. So make those playlists. Once you have your library, you can make all these little stitched playlists. And let's just say somebody really wants a dog park, a gym, and a couple 1-bedrooms. Well, boom, you can just make your playlist to that. And so you're creating it just for your prospect, and you're letting the media do the work for you. I hope that answers your question.
Oh, it does more than just that. That is so wonderful. And if you would like to see a playlist in action, stay tuned because Carol's actually going to walk us through a few of her favorite
Got a few
playlists
examples,
that she
yeah.
has. So with that, we are going to start off with a really fun game on the next slide. So what you're really describing is authenticity. And I think the industry is entering a strange moment where people do not always know what authentic looks like anymore. So we are going to test ourselves. We're going to see if we can identify what's real and what's AI. So we're going to go through a few slides here, and this is where we would love audience participation. So right there in the chat, drop your guess. Is this going to be a real picture or is this an AI picture? We'll play along and then we'll discuss. Our first image is up. So what do you think, Carol?
Oh, definitely AI. I see the chat going crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think we can see because there's dimensions. The furniture looks a little 3D. I think the artwork looks a little too perfect with the white borders. It just seems really AI to me. and the carpet doesn't look right. Just the proportions don't look totally real. So I'm going to go with
Totally.
AI, and I think that's what the audience is saying too.
I think you have a lot of people that agree with you. Let's find out if you're right on the next
Yeah,
slide.
we had that in the bag.
Yes.
We know.
All
We already
right.
know.
And hey, look in the comment section. They even said the fan might be real. I think that was a good call out. Good job, Mike.
Hmm.
So, Carol, any other comments on that now that you see the real photo next to it?
Well, now that I see the side by side, I mean, they added a whole window. So therefore, the prospect's going to be very disappointed with the lack of extra natural light. Um, it looks like the dimensions are a little bit longer for the room versus,
Mhm.
showing the actual space, which I know we always try to make the room look bigger. But yeah, I think that fan is real. Now that I see that, that looks kind of the same, maybe different light fixtures. So yeah,
Yep.
it's good to still
Yeah. All
use the
right.
virtual staging, right? But we
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
show if it's my prior brand was micro units. We had our studios were 369 square feet. I can only do so much. So we
Right.
wanted to show that space because of how you could actually live and how functional it was, versus trying to make it look like a big angle. So well, I don't know. Has anybody seen anything else? It's kind of like match the picture. Those are what stand out to me.
Yeah, no, I think you covered it all. I love the proportions comment and definitely the staging of the furniture in there too is something that you do want people to feel like, hey, this is I could see myself in here for sure. So then we got the plants are really fake too. Yes. Very, very
Oh, a good
fake.
fig tree, right?
All right. So let's go to the next one. Let's see. Is it real or is it AI? So drop your guess in the chat. Carol, what do you think?
This picture looks familiar. I think this is one of my properties, but I think this is real. I mean, we love virtual staging by all means, but I can tell by the shiny off the cabinets, the fridge doesn't look perfect or matte finished. You can tell that it's a stainless appliance. The lighting, the flooring looks legit. So I'm gonna go with real. I don't think this is one of our staged ones.
I
Oh
love it.
yeah,
Well, let's find out. Real. All right.
nice.
Yes. So you're correct. This is actually from one of your beautiful communities, and you guys did a fantastic job with this. It is actually staged furniture. It's a great, amazing shot that you guys did, and tells a really great story too. So good job with
They do a
that,
good job with that.
and good job with everybody in the chat. I think we didn't fool anyone on that. It was definitely real. Okay, so let's move on to the third and final one of this segment. Is it real or
Oh,
is it AI?
I mean, this is so AI, right? Um, let's
What
see
are you noticing in here?
the the angle of the chair. I think it looks a little proportioned. It looks a little 3D-ish. They certainly didn't put more art on the wall. I don't know if that fireplace needs to be there in that back corner, unless it's like a catty cornered fireplace. Yeah, it just looks a
Mhm.
little proportionally off to me.
I totally agree with you. In the fireplace, it's funny, even the way that it's categorized, it looks off-centered. And so if you are going to stage the fireplace there, come on. And yes, the light fixture is definitely off-center too, as said in the chat. So let's figure out if this is real or is it AI on the next slide.
Yep,
AI. Okay, I don't think we fooled too many people in here too. I think someone put real AI in there too in
real
the
AI.
chat. So what stands out now that you see the real picture, Carol, and everybody here in the audience too? What stands out to you of some of the differences?
I mean, there's a staircase back there versus that lush greenery forest space that you'd be backing up to. But this could also show that it's a first floor walkout and that could be convenient for a certain type of person.
Hmm.
There is a fireplace, so they had me wrong there. But see, I think the angle changed with the AI.
Hmm.
I don't know where the heck the doors went, but now, oh, I guess that's the real picture. So the doors are off. So I guess you just open up the space. That's kind of
Hmm.
cool. If you were a single person, you don't really need that door. But yeah, I would show this picture side by side, but I would definitely stage it a little bit better to be more authentic. To show the right dimensions because it's a great natural light first floor walkout. You do have two points of light there.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of lighting, we had in the chat even some people that identified that the threshold of the floor right in front of the door out there is kind of hidden in the AI picture. So you may
Yeah.
not even know that you have a tile floor, right there before you go out. And so great pickup by the audience
Oh
on
yeah,
that
that's a
one.
great detail. Yep. I didn't even notice that one.
Absolutely.
That's good detail.
So transitioning away from this, if people start feeling tricked before, they even tour, I mean, you've already lost trust. So beyond legal and disclosure concerns, prospects who feel misled, they don't just simply bounce nowadays. They tell people, they leave reviews, they choose another property, or God forbid, they get on social media and start making video content about your community, and you don't want that. So think about this. 74% of renters say they lose trust the moment they find out AI was involved in their leasing experience and no one told them. So that's not a small number. And California did notice this. So AB 723, which went into effect January 1st of this year, now requires disclosure of any time a listing photo has been AI altered or virtually staged. So if you're operating in California, this is already on you. If you're not, we know how California laws are. They start to become the footsteps towards a national law. So be ready on that. And that's why this really matters what you've built, Carroll. The answer is it's not just a policy, it's a system for creating and activating authentic unit level media by the people who actually know the property. So on this next slide, Carroll, let's talk about how JVM actually does that at scale.
Sure. So coming over to JVM now, just really in the past 6 months, I came over in December. I'm so excited to be on this team. They're really doing some great things. But using Realync, I think it's great to build things so people know their boundaries. And what I'm finding now that I'm back on a bigger scale is that you really don't have time to be with every single individual team member, unfortunately. But you want to build content where they know their boundaries. You can let them have their creative freedom, and ultimately they know that they can use this for leasing. That's my biggest goal, is resources for quicker leasing, less burnout, less talking, less interruptions, so they can do all the other work that they have to do every day. So when building my SOP, I really kind of went with 4 buckets of your do's and don'ts when you're making videos. And we also developed an approval process. This is one great thing that Realync has that you can turn on for either your property managers or your higher up regionals, that when any video gets uploaded, you can quickly review it and approve or reject. So when I'm rejecting a video, I don't want the teams to think, oh my gosh, why isn't my video getting approved? So we made some SOPs of what would get a video rejected, or what we need on a video to get approved. So the stop and scroll cover, looking at all the hundreds and hundreds of videos that we have, I noticed, gosh, every front picture is of a front door, or some stairs, or just half of a kitchen. And we're all used to the scrolling aspect now. If we see a really cool cover photo on an Instagram reel that has some lettering or something, we're gonna want to watch that. So same thing, same concept with Realync, is having it's called edit attributes. So if you want to jot that down, once you log into your media, there's the 3 little dots. You'll see edit attributes. That's where you can put in your logo. So it shows your nice logo before you even watch the video. You could do a gorgeous picture of a kitchen. We see that kitchens have a really high click-through rate in our Realync platform. Or a cool picture of like the outside of the property, just a beautiful nighttime or beautiful pool picture. It's going into summertime, so why not show up your cool pool? So go in there. I bet if you get in there and look at all your media, it's just pictures of front doors and weird angles. So would you want to click on that, right? Yeah. So next thing for me is the GIF, or is it GIF?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm an elder millennial. Sometimes I call it GIF, but okay, we're gonna call it GIF to be cool. But you know, what if, and this goes back to when I started using video with a prior platform where you can make the movement, in your email. And hey, what if you made a little video that says, "Hey Joe," and like this is the GIF in your email? Well, if somebody made a video for me, I'm definitely going to click on that. It's like getting a hotel at a goodie bag at a hotel. It's like, oh my gosh, somebody took the time to put my name on something. So anyway, I love the GIF feature. And if you're sending this in an email, this is so much fun. And it's going to be a really great eye-catching visual for your email that you're going to send out. So Um, Going on, I think the other bucket is your action banner setting. So
Yeah.
once you've made the video, you have somebody that watches it, now what? Not everything I think needs to go to apply now. And that's kind of also what I'm seeing. And this will increase our click-through rates if that button in the top right corner goes to something else, right? Maybe we're just getting to know the prospect. We want them to apply, but maybe we want them to read our Google reviews. Maybe we want them to go to the floor plan page. So be intentional with that action banner setting. And I bet if you go in and check as well, you'll just see everything goes to apply now. And that's not always the case. I mean, sometimes I want people to go watch more videos on our Instagram and then get more follows because they're already going to do that anyway. So if you lead with that, I think it's an awesome, great thing to do. And then finally, not to be on a horse here, but the photo gallery. So about when was it, Joe? A year and a half that Realync
Yeah.
launched
Almost
this.
not. Yeah.
So it's the technology. Any video that you upload can now become a photo gallery. So, oh my gosh, we don't have to keep going up there to take pictures of the view from the balcony or the bathroom. Any video that you upload can now be sliced and diced instantly with their technology to become a photo gallery. And then you can download a couple images, send it to your prospect. They can put it into their own chat GPT engine to furnish how they want. But now you're building not only a video library, but photos. And we all know much photo shoots take a lot of time, a lot of energy. So those are my 4 buckets of like the essentials that, if you're going to start making videos today, if you're interested in this product, like that's how I would build out my SOP for training.
I love all this. And I hope everybody was taking notes or they watched the recording and get all of that again. Those were such great practical tips. One of my
Really is.
favorite things that you said was the action button setting. Meeting people where they are is such a common theme that we hear in marketing today and how we're engaging our prospects. And if you're not doing that, if you're failing to do that or failing to see that the prospect goes on a journey, and then discovering that your community, then you may need to rethink it. We've heard that it takes about 8 touch points from some of our friends in the industry for people to actually close. And so, how are you creating unique touch points through that journey? And Carol, you just gave a great rundown of all of that. So, with that, since all of you on the webinar are what we consider premium subscribers, there is no commercial break. What there is a little bit more fun with AI versus real slides. So, we are going to the next slide. We're going to do 3 more here. And let's see if you can get back in the chat section and help us identify, is it real or is it AI? So, we have the first photo here. Carol, what do you think? Is this real or is this AI?
Well, I loved how you looked at our properties and used this for this exercise. Um, I see the chat, but I mean, the sky looks a little too perfect with the clouds. And then, but here's my thing, the landscaping is not super perfect. I think the grass looks, not as perfect either. It's reflecting off the pool accurately. I'm going to go with real.
Okay.
I think
Okay,
if it was
real.
AI, it would be more saturated.
Okay, yeah. I think we're getting
Okay.
real a
Woo.
lot in the chat. So good. And we had a lot of people that say AI enhance
Mm.
on that. What do you think about that? There were a few hybrid comments in there too.
Well, that's where I think our eye can be tricked a little bit of using, your colors, which I think is so important, especially if you're putting something into print. Of course, you want to brighten it up, but oversaturation, contrasting, you just want to be careful so it looks authentic. But AI enhanced too. There's nothing wrong with that if you have a pole or like a electric box that's really going to deter from a picture. I think that's important to take out, but you want to keep your landscape and your aesthetic as real as possible. Absolutely.
I love that too. And one of my favorite parts of this picture, ironically, is the water tower in the back. To me, that just
Mm.
like it screams like where I'm going to be, that it makes me feel more connected to it, and yes, it's not like a big concrete pole or anything like that, but it gives it character to me. So yes, this is real. Absolutely. But yeah, your eyes can be tricked. So let's go to the next one. Is it AI or is it real? Carol, what do you think?
I'm AI for sure. I think the proportions, the carpet looks a little 3D-ish. The TV looks not like a normal length of a TV. Looks like they enhanced the lighting to make it feel warmer at certain parts, coming through the light. So I'm going to say 3D
Mm.
or AI.
All right, let's go to the next slide and figure out, is it AI or is it real?
Yeah.
It is AI. So as we look on the next slide, the side-by-side comparison of these, what stands out to you in the audience or to you, Carol?
Looks like Andrew said no shadow of the decor on the TV stand. Oh yeah, see, the shadows really help too. Um,
Absolutely.
and the lighting. So what is it, the next slide that shows the reel or the
Yeah,
actual
so the reel
picture?
is right there. Yeah, right next to it, right there. So you can see like there wasn't a great deal altered here, but
The
Brianna actually
angles of
picked.
the room, yeah.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. And even you can see like you see like there's a little bit, maybe 5 or 6 feet added to this, and the perspective shot that you have there in the AI image. So if I'm a prospect, I'm getting there and I'm doing a real tour, I'm kind of like, this is a lot smaller than what I thought. And you cannot irk me more than getting in there and realizing I'm in a much smaller space than what was
Right.
presented to me. So
Right.
yeah,
And I
and then
think
we
we've
have,
all been there of where we
yeah.
want to get in the corner and try to get the whole room. I'm certainly guilty of it. But now the more that we're learning, if you show that transparency, especially the prior brand was micro units, we really want to be authentic with that so we don't get any unqualified leads or waste anyone's time when they get there. And especially with our angles these days on our cameras, you just want to, choose that. I like the 0.6 kind of angle as well, where it can get the whole room, but still show the right capacities.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so good pickup from a lot of other people in there, the fireplace, the
Yeah.
reflections in there a lot. So great job, everyone. I think everybody's a pro at figuring out if this is AI
We
or
are.
real. So AI imagery can be tricky to figure out, but what isn't tricky is building an amazing library of media content that you can share with your prospects with Realync. So Carol, you have some experience with this, I hear.
Absolutely. So these are some examples that I think is relevant for anybody that is trying to use this or how you would use Realync. So this video shows examples of a playlist that we made. So this property had to do renovations. They had to sell renovations. They had classic units that they needed to promote. They had higher level penthouse units that, were much more expensive with different finishes. So constantly getting, well, what does this look like? What does that look like? Well, let's make videos of each. Then we can put it together as a playlist. And then you can share that with your prospect to see which one works best for them. What I like is that you can make the individual customized playlist with their name on it. It would have their name at the top
Yeah.
with that call to action to the floor plans or maybe to the unit that they're interested in to apply right then. So here, this gives them the opportunity to not only toggle from the videos to the photos, which I love, they can stop, they can watch it, and then you're going to see how many times that they watch it. And that's a buying signal, which I could do a whole talk about all the data points in Realync, where you get the data. So that shows you in the background, like, ooh, they just watched that video 5 times. Maybe they're interested in the renovated unit. And then all of a sudden you're following up and you read their mind and you're going to close the deal. So the next slide is going into our partnerships. And across the country, we love our corporate partnerships. We always want to communicate with our major employers. They're the ones that are bringing humans to our markets, and they need housing. So people have preferred employer perks, but now you can make videos for each of your preferred employers. I did this in Arizona. This is one of my go-tos when I do a lease up because I have to get in front of those people with all the humans first. That's my plan of attack. So you make these videos and you can use these over and over and over. So Honeywell, your universities, Amazon, all of your chamber directory, your chamber members, you can go through that if you're members, but you can make these. And how I like to make these preferred employer playlists is, I don't really show all the fluff because I'm going to be sending this to the HR departments, to the people that really care about where their employee is going to be living, what is the community like, and how productive they're going to be. And, the coffee bar, the pet park, that's all extra, which is great for the resident experience. But when you're really trying to work with an employer, I think the sales process needs to be focused on the location, the inside of the unit, and maybe your health and wellness to keep your employee healthy and active. So that's kind of my go-to with when creating some playlists. I think it's really important as you go to your preferred employers, which we all do. And then finally, just I'm not going to give away all the secret sauce, but and finally, I like to make videos and have my teams send videos to their prospects that don't sell anything. So think about it like that. We're going to sell without selling. This is called soft sales. I know you guys know this, but maybe you're working with a prospect that's moving to the area. They don't know anybody. They're starting a new job. So you could put together a playlist of, hey, Mr. Jones, I know that you're moving here. Here's all the events that we do. I think you would really love these and meet people. And they can see like your seasonal activity. And then that also has a call to action to go pick a floor plan. So therefore, you're keeping their attention, but you're also sending them somewhere else to go live with you. And you haven't sold anything. This doesn't even have an apartment tour on it. So getting outside the box, I think it's fun to sell without selling anything.
I love that phrasing. That's great. I love to sell without selling anything. That is fantastic. And yeah, it's important for, I think, prospects or residents, future residents, to be able to see where they're going to be able to see themselves living there. And I've known a lot of residents that have seen events like you're talking about, resident lifestyle events, and been drawn to a community because of that and wanted to engage in that style of community, and it really resonated with them. So I love that you create a playlist like this, and it's so exciting to see all of these and how you're utilizing them to engage with your prospects. And one of the points that a lot of prospective partners raise with me is how they can scale media that their teams are working on within the branding guidelines of their organization. Now, JVM has a fantastic SOP. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but let's go a little bit more in depth with it. So when it comes to media, I would love for you to review that SOP with us.
Yeah. So, the teams, when I came on, our marketing department has done an incredible job of already using this platform. I have to give them a shout out. We are not starting from scratch, which I've had to do with other properties and other markets. And it is a little bit of a lift. But once you're rocking and rolling with your videos and the teams are uploading their own videos, then it's really important to kind of scale from there and put in your do's and don'ts. We all work on boundaries. We all work on deadlines. This is something else that we need to put in place as leaders so people know what to do and what not to do, or else everybody uploading videos, it will become a little hodgepodgey. So as I was going through, I worked with our marketing team, and we put together some thresholds. So there is an approval process that you can turn on with Realync. So any video that gets uploaded, it will go to an alert to, I would keep it to one or two people so there's less hands in the cookie jar, right? Of reviewing a video and approving it or rejecting it. So we made up some rejection SOPs of why a video would get rejected. I never want to hurt anyone's feelings or demotivate their creativity. But if we are going to be uploading videos and letting teams have this creative freedom, let's put together some training. So there's a few things on here that we put together of why a video would get rejected. And, none of these are groundbreaking, but obviously having a muffled audio, if you're in an apartment, let's say it's noisy in the background, you don't have furniture there and you're doing a tour, you may want to invest in those Bluetooth wireless microphones. You can also use your phone as one as well now. And so having that, and because you're going to lose people if the audio's echoey or bad, like I'm not even going to watch it. Dirty apartments. I mean, let's put the toilet seats down. I don't know why some videos I see have like the toilet seat up. That is a huge key for me in any model,
Yes.
any picture. Let's all work together in this industry to keep the toilet seats down. Because you just that doesn't need to be a focal point of your video. And make sure that the apartment's clean, the dirty windows, you can see that from the outside. So walking through as a critic before you make any video is huge because it's going to deter your prospect. Over filming of food. I see this often as well, like as I'm scoping out competition or looking at other properties' Instagram pages. And I'm like, why do we have food all over our pages in our videos? I think it's great that we're excited, that we're feeding people and, we're doing all these little parties, but the food shouldn't be the focal point of a video because we're selling homes. So we want to show
Mm.
the kitchen, we want to show the finishes, we want to show the cool lighting and backsplashes. And yes, there's an event going on with food, but it seems a little student housing to me, even though I come from student housing and I love it. But I think we need to get away from adding these into our Realync libraries because we're not selling food.
Mm.
Not having background music, that's one reason I would reject a video because we want to have that elevated feel. Music makes us feel emotion. So always
Right.
just, and I love that Realync has all those royalty-free music options you can plug right behind your audio. Another thing is getting it with Canva. Of course, you can edit your video in Canva, get it into
Mhm.
Realync. If you need any Canva tips, let me know. And then overacting, I've seen some of some teams maybe make out a scene or try to overact. Just keep it real and cool, especially with your how-tos. We don't need to overact or anything. So, and then finally, just making sure things aren't offensive. You have to be aware of the climate, and also stay within fair housing too. So keeping those in mind is a reason I would reject a video or send it back to the team for more edits.
I, I love all of this, and I feel like we could just take an hour just on these and talk about our experiences with these over the years on multifamily. Because, oh my gosh, yeah, people aren't going to be there in your, common area with all the pizza boxes there or the food that you have laid out. I mean, good grief. And yeah, the overacting. I would actually love to see someone do a Shakespearean impersonation of showing a model unit overacting without.
I'm
You
adding
have
that to my list. Here we
the
go.
refrigerator, but yeah, I mean, all of these things, but the number one thing for me is that toilet seat. Can we please put down the toilet seat and turn on some lights when we take a video?
Yes.
Cannot agree with you enough.
Oh
We
my
can do
goodness.
this. We can do this multifamily.
Yes.
So with all that being said, oh my gosh, this is all so good. But if everyone watching today did one thing differently before their next video goes out, what
Mm.
would you want that to be, Carol?
Oh, if you were going to start making a video today, the one thing I would say is that action banner setting because you're putting in
Mm.
the work to make a video. The apartment looks great. It's ready to go. You have your Giphy, you have everything ready, but then you put the wrong action banner because you want to give them the next step. So just like anything, when we're touring a prospect, we're always trying to lead them to the next step. What's your timeline? Did you want to go ahead and start your application today to get this off the market? That call to action button, I don't think people realize how important it is
Yeah.
to get them to the next step. And don't think that it's just going to be apply now. We're seeing our click through rates right now, we're at around a 3%. And my goal is to get up to like a 6 to 8% click through rate because I'm going back in and auditing where all the action banner settings are going to. And this just goes to show like no one's perfect, no one's an expert, but these are little tweaks I think we can all do to get your prospect to the next step. And that's going to help your leasing conversion. So action
Absolutely.
banner settings, check those out.
I love it. I love it. And that is such a great takeaway, especially again, when we're hearing so many people that are saying we're not meeting prospects where they are or understanding the journey that they're going through. Fantastic advice. So if Carol's one thing is the action operators should take, Realink can make that easier to do at scale. So on the next slide here, you'll see that I want to take just a second and talk about how Realink actually fits into everything we've been discussing today. It's not a long sell pitch, I promise, because it's not just a video tool. It's really built around the idea of showing the truth. And the starting point is to capture the truth. Your on-site team, they film the actual available units, not the model. It's not a stock walkthrough from 2 years ago. It's the real thing. And that one shift, filming what's actually available, is where trust can begin to start. And then the platform does the heavy lifting. Carol mentioned the photo gallery. The Real Essentials engine takes that footage and automatically spins it into GIFs or GIFs, playlists, branded galleries, and content that's ready to go to nurture in your funnels without your teams having to build it from scratch every single time. And for anyone that's trying to manage multiple properties, which I think we can get a lot of hands raised for that, the scale with control piece is huge. Approval workflows, automated SOPs, consistent brand standards across every unit at every community. You get quality and consistency without having to choose between them. So you have a QR code here. If you scan that QR code, you'll actually be taken to our website where you can schedule a demo with us if you want to, or request for more information. But let's go over to the next slide. And we've spent the last hour talking about what it looks like to show up authentically with great visual content. And we want to help you actually do that. So new properties on Realync get 10 professionally produced videos. That's a $900 value just for signing up before June 30th. Before June 30th, that's all you have to do. And you get all the 10 professionally produced videos. All you have to do is scan the same QR code on the screen. It'll take you there, and you can request more information on a demo, fill out that fill form, and consider it your homework from today's session. And this is your most impactful first step, right, Carol?
I'm scanning that right now because I have a new property I'm onboarding, so I'm gonna take advantage of that. Absolutely.
Nice.
10 videos, that's like half of a library right there. And then that'll get me going. So that's awesome. Whew.
I love it. I love it. And I love what's coming up next. For those of you that are still here, you get to enjoy one of my favorite times on this webinar, and that is the fire round. We have got 7 questions to give Carol. She has only got 20 to 30 seconds to answer each question with what comes up at the top of mind first. This is going to be great, and you are going to do fantastic. Carol, are you ready to go through the 7-question gauntlet?
I guess. Let's go.
You're going to do great. Here we go. First question. What is the most underused leasing trend right now?
Okay, not having your fee calculators on your website to show transparency. Because I've been doing a lot of housing for millennials, Gen Zs, and like they want to have everything broken down because they're so frugal. So I think it's a trend coming up, but everybody needs to pay attention to putting those pricing calculators on their website.
I love it. I love it. What is the most underrated media channel operators may be sleeping on right now?
YouTube Shorts. And I get it. Coming from a smaller brand, I could use YouTube Shorts as I wanted. I understand if it's a bigger company, they're going to have some stipulations of uploading, but any video that you make should get out there in the universe, because YouTube is owned by Google, and you can get a lot more international attention, and that's where everyone's getting information as well. You can use hashtags, you can use titling to get it to the right property or location. But I think YouTube Shorts is, if you have a video, it needs to be on the YouTube Shorts for sure. And it's free.
Absolutely.
It's part of it,
Yep. Yep. And they'll be sending the royalty check pretty here soon. So well done on that. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
So next question, number 3, one thing every leasing team should stop doing this quarter.
Stop sending long, boring emails. Keep the content short, and then let your videos do all the work for you. I mean, prospects have done so much work to even contact you. They've read your reviews, they've seen your website, location. Send them awesome videos and pictures, and keep the content short and make it just personalized, that you want to help them figure out what it is that they have to have. And then, it doesn't have to be this long, drawn out email every prospect. Nobody has time to read all that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Text them a video, have them watch it, and then call them on the phone, see what they need. So
yeah, Millie's amening you in the chat, saying stop doing it without the personalization. So let's talk about one thing every property should start doing immediately.
Stop selling and become the solution. So again, I really like to sell without selling. Yeah. I'll never be the lease a floor plan, get your 2-bedroom today. That's just not my vibe. I like to see what is it that they want. How can I be a solution? Because moving is so stressful. We all know that. Starting a new job is stressful. And most of these times, these people are doing both, right? They're moving to a new city and a new apartment. So I don't sell anything. I am there to help and get them all the answers they need accurately and get them a home. So if you start selling without selling, you're going to be more confident to close the application, because I find that a lot of agents are like, do you want to go ahead and put your money down, or do you want to start be like, I don't want you to be homeless. Let's get your apartment today. All you have to do is start your
Yeah.
application. There's a couple fees. Let's get this going. And then all of a sudden you're the solution, and you're not just
Mm.
selling them to lease another apartment like everybody else is doing. So I like to sell without
Oh,
selling.
so
Easier
good.
said than
I
done.
still,
It's an
yeah,
art.
yeah.
It'll take you time and experience, but kind of start there with that mindset.
Absolutely. And I still hear the mic echoing around from that mic drop on the stage back there. So the next question is the piece of content that surprised you most with how well it performed.
Well, one of my Phoenix properties, this is the only one that's really done like viral. It hit 31 million views. And I had brought
Whoa.
in, I know, and I talked about it at NAA. I think it drew a lot of attention of how easy this was, but how viral it went. And this is just, to go to show what social media can do. But this was a new lease up in downtown Phoenix. I was trying to build our Instagram page. We had some influencers and all kinds of stuff. But I really sat down with some like Gen Zs, and I was like, what is something cool that you would want to see in an apartment? Well, they all talked about these apartment hacks, and how to clean your shower, how to clean a flat stove, just little basic things. So we made like a 26-second little reel of how to clean a shower, and it just went absolutely crazy. Many different countries. Of course, you have the banter going on back and forth. So we really went all in with that because it seemed like that was working. So pieces of content, you got to just find what works for your demographic and see what doesn't work, and not be afraid to
Mhm.
just like keep experimenting. And I think everybody knows that that's in this, leasing or marketing field, because you do videos that may not always work, but you just have to keep trying and be silly and quirky and see what works.
Mhm. I love that. And maybe we can twist Carol's arm to repost that on LinkedIn, that video that went viral there.
I
So the
have the
next
screen.
question.
I think it's still on YouTube, but they sold the property, and I'll
Oh,
have to find it. But I will try to I'll put that on my LinkedIn because I think I have it on my phone, and I'm gonna I'll repost it.
I love it. I love it. So check out Carol's LinkedIn to see
I'll put
that
that up.
video.
I'll look for it today.
All right, man, this just got even better. Okay, so you only got two left. You're doing fantastic here, Carol. You're just killing it. So what
Oh,
did hospitality teach you about leasing that multifamily has not figured out yet?
hospitality teaching about leasing that multi. Well, I mean, what I see across coming from student and coming over to multifamily in the past 6 years, I'm starting to see a lot of hospitality focus and
Mhm.
going into hotels. And that's what my passion was and what I wanted to do, was really work at big resorts. So anyway, when you're working in hotels, they train you on active listening. So this is what I train my teams on as well, is that you don't want to repeat yourself. You don't want to ask
Right,
anybody to repeat. You want to learn their name. And
right.
if anybody I really talk to at any of my properties, they know everyone's names, they know everyone's dog's names. So we're getting there. But I think active listening, so we can take that and make it into an experience. So,
Mm.
for instance, if you're with a prospect and they're moving, they just adopted a dog, their dog's name is Fluffy, it only has 3 legs, like something like detailed. You can make a note of that and make sure that you have something cute for Fluffy on move-in day. And that's called active listening to make experiences. Or if a resident has lost a family member or something that's just traumatic happening in their life, sending them a bowl of soup or a link to go get something, that's active listening that you hear about. So you can just make those experiences. And that's what hospitality is all about, is making unexpected experiences. And that's what I'm really passionate
Mhm.
about. So I would say we could always get better at active listening and being intent
Mhm.
with each prospect that we talk to.
I love that. And that just takes a little bit of investment and intentionality with your teams to do that. And such a great perspective. I didn't know we gave you two mics to drop, but you did it. If you could only send a prospect one thing before a tour, what would it be, Carol?
Well, I wanted to piggyback on the last one really quick before I forget.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, please
But
do. I love it.
empowering your teams. So I find sometimes that we're not allowed to do this, or we don't have a budget
Mhm.
to do that. Making sure that as a leader at your properties, that you do have your different gift baskets of pet stuff or bad day, sad day stuff, and that your teams are empowered. I remember being a front desk agent, and we were empowered to send a champagne bottle or send a bottle of wine. Not every hour, but I was, they wouldn't have let me do that. But you were empowered. So my goal in the last one is empower your teams to make sure they know that they can send a card and make that experience. But
So
so
good.
moving on
Yeah.
to the last one, what was the question?
So if you could only send a prospect one thing before a tour, what would it be?
Of course, not to plug or be cheesy, but I mean, just getting them that information in a video form. Not only would
Mm,
I call them to introduce myself, but I would send them a video of who I am, the human person, and then introduce myself so they can see who's really behind the scenes helping them. And then that's when you can explain, hey, we have some virtually staged apartments. You can explain how you use AI as part of your process, but then they know that there's a human behind that you can build that trust. So using that resource to do the work for me, for sure.
Well, we love hearing that. We're kind of fans of video around here, aren't we, Kayla?
That's right. Love to hear it.
I love
All
Joe's
right.
videos too. If y'all watch him on LinkedIn, he has the funniest, the best videos. So I love your content. I watch it. I'm a fan.
Oh,
Joe
thanks,
is very
Carol.
good. If you're not following Joe, you're going to want to note his LinkedIn here in a couple slides. So, well, that wraps it up for our fire round, but it's time to open it up to you. So our audience has been submitting questions via the Q&A box. If you have not done so already, there's still time to submit those questions to Joe and Carol. We did have one or two come in. I saw come in during the presentation, so let's dive in. The first is, and I think Carol, you might have already answered this one. What is your favorite Realync integration?
Ooh.
Oh, I love how it integrates with real or Ingrain. So we have
Mm, mhm.
interactive Ingrain maps, and I can take certain Realink videos of like a general floor plan. Maybe it has the same view out of the window, and you can put it on that stack. So they can hover over a floor plan on the Ingrain map, which is also embedded on apartments.com, one of our big ILSs, and that keeps them watching videos. They can actually get information of inside the video or inside the unit before they lease. I love the Ingrain integration. Yeah, they do some great stuff over there. Shout out to Ingrain.
That's right. Shout out to Ingrain. Very powerful
Big shout.
integration and definitely marries some of those things that our prospects are looking for online.
Absolutely.
How long does it take to implement Realync?
Mm.
Hmm.
That's a good question. If you're starting from scratch, like you don't have any videos, I'm getting ready to do a project for a new property we onboarded, and we signed up for 13 videos, and we're filming for a whole day, but we got the inventory secured. So it just really depends if you're in lease up and you don't have occupants, obviously you can get it going quickly because you have free range of the apartments. If you're occupied doing this retroactively, um, I do encourage you to do it during the summer when you have more turns, or the fall, because during wintertime, it's dreary outside. Your landscaping probably isn't the best unless you're, down in Texas or Miami. But for us Midwesterners, most of everybody, we want to film it when it's nice. So look at those seasonalities. Gut instinct, if you're just getting started, I mean, you're going to need probably 2 weeks to get the units together, but they film it really quickly, and that takes no time at all. So it just really depends. Sorry, that was a vague answer, but
No,
it
that was great.
I think it's
You're
just
right.
really just
It
depends. Yeah.
it
Mhm.
does depend on your property, how much you want to do to get started, and kind of the bandwidth your team has also. Like Joe said earlier, we can get you started. We like to promote that anyone on your on site could make a video and get it ready for production, but we also have services that can help you do that as well. All right, the third
Absolutely.
question and final that we'll take from our audience today is from Miss Deborah Hayes. Have you found that authenticity changes how a property should be positioned and branded, particularly for those older assets competing against newer construction?
Absolutely. And I can't believe Deb Hayes is on this call. I'm a huge fan of hers too. Oh
Shout
my God.
out, shout
Hey,
out.
Deb. Okay, let me see if I can phrase this right. Yeah, using when you're starting with a brand and you're building that from scratch, definitely using those staged and virtual renderings from your architects is so important. I think having the 3D and 2D model options when you're developing your floor plans is crucial as well. Some people just still want the black and white 2D looking floor plans, but and then being able to toggle over to your 3D also really helps enhance the brand, especially if it's a brand new build out or brand that you're developing. And then once you go into your opening phases, that photo shoot is so crucial to show the actual product. I think I've been so used to selling renderings for almost a decade because the product didn't exist yet that as soon as we get open, we want to get that product shot and then start using all that content. I still see some properties that are like 4 years old and they're using renderings from their lease up. And that creates distrust for sure, because anybody can
Yeah.
look up how old a property is and you can see that that was like a 3D person by the pool. Like, where's your pool pictures? Where's your activities? So that can create distrust too.
Good point. Very good point. All right. Thank you so much, Carol. Thank you, Joe. Um, and we will do a little about apartmentalize if you're going. Joe, I
Oh,
know you and
yes,
I will
we
be there.
will. Yes, I can't wait for NAA Apartmentalize coming up. And hey, if you're going to NAA, go ahead and drop that in the chat right now. Because if you want to continue this conversation in person, we're going to be there in New Orleans, June 17th through the 19th, booth 2201. And guys, we're even going to have a mini apartment in our booth so you can experience how Realync gets filmed in the first place, and you can even try it out yourself. So come by, talk video, talk authenticity, talk all of it, and see all the other amazing solutions that Grace Hill has to offer. New Orleans is a great place to get jazzed about leasing strategy. So going on to the next slide and closing it up here, we want you to connect with us. Just like we said, we're both on LinkedIn. These are LinkedIn profiles that you can scan the QR codes for right now. We're always updating new things that we're seeing in the industry. Carroll is an amazing follow as well. So scan the codes,
Um,
connect on LinkedIn, shoot us a message even. And so again, we're very active on there and we'd be happy to engage with you more. You also have my email on there. Feel free to send me all the templates you want, but please make it personalized and reach out. We do appreciate that a little bit more. And so Carroll, I just want to say genuinely, thank you so much. The way you walked us through everything and how you actually
of
think
course.
about visual content at the property level, that's the kind of thing you can't get from a blog post. That was real. And I think everyone on this call felt it. So thank you for bringing that today with
Of
us.
course. I just want people to have takeaways. I'm in the trenches. I'm not just sitting at a desktop making up stuff to do. This is real everyday stuff, and it's such a great product, guys. So I'm a huge fan. And go use it. It's all about the video. Thanks for
Absolutely.
having
And for
me. I appreciate it.
Oh, it was our pleasure. Our pleasure. And for everyone who joined us today, the replay again will be hitting your inbox tomorrow, June 5th. If you had to drop early, don't worry about that. You can rewatch Carol's walkthrough, or you can pass this along to someone on your team. It'll be there. So we will see you next time and hopefully in New Orleans. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Hi, everyone.